Hello there, it's Joe here, and welcome back to my F1 2017 career mode. Been a while, hasn't it? So first, let's address the elephants in the room. First of which, I know I've not been releasing videos consistently for the last few days. I've had a lot on, but I am back now, and though uploads will not be daily, they will be regular, so keep your eyes out for that. Secondly, I've ditched the live 25% format as I miss doing the longer races. I really enjoy doing 50% races and just wanted to go back to the format that I know and love. So, although it's been exciting and we've had some great races, it just leaves me wanting more. Whereas 50% feels like the perfect distance to race over, so we're going back to that. Full quali. So we're in Canada, and I did manage to take a nibble back of the championship lead in Monaco by grabbing my first win of the season. But that's not going to be my only win. I am after more. I am hungry now to pull back my championship charge, and that begins, well, it begun in Monaco, but it continues here at Montreal. So you see here my first qualifying lap. I'm really giving it my all, perhaps too much here, and that's me out of qualifying. So my first race in this new slash old returned to normal format, and that's happened. Not pleased with that one.
Out of my commentary box window, a very large and very excited crowd here today, eagerly anticipating another memorable race. Lewis Hamilton took his maiden win on this circuit in 2007. Jenson Button came from last place to win here in 2011, and there's certainly no shortage of drama on offer here at the Canadian Grand Prix. If you want flat-out racing, you've come to the right place this weekend, as it's full throttle for 59% of this 2.7-mile circuit, peaking at around 210 miles per hour going into the final chicane. But that speed requires discipline, and there are more than a few close walls here just waiting to punish drivers with a heavy right foot. It's a favourite for fans and drivers alike then here in Canada. We're used to seeing the unexpected happen here, and with me today to enjoy it all is Anthony Davidson, a man who knows firsthand the surprises that can pop up in this race.
I do indeed. I had a good chance at some points here in 2007, but unfortunately it wasn't meant to be. My old colleague Takuma Sato, though, he managed to finish 6th, so the team took home 3 valuable points, and that was a big boost to everyone at the time. I'm not sure I can think of anywhere else that so consistently provides the kind of late race excitement we get here. Obviously, towards the end of the Grand Prix, the brakes are getting worn, maybe the weather situation has changed, so there's a lot to keep fighting for all the way up to that final corner.
We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Verstappen, Esteban Ocon, and Perez, Ricciardo, Massa, Kvyat, and Nico Hülkenberg, Grosjean, Sainz, Fernando Alonso, and Magnussen, Palmer, Ericsson, Lance Stroll, and Pascal Wehrlein. Van Dorn and a Ferrari rounds off the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
So we're starting last. It's a bit of a setback, but this is Montreal. It tends to throw up a crazy one, so you know what? Let's just dive right in. It's lights out and away we go. We didn't seem to get a great start there, but Wehrlein appeared to get an even slower one than us, and we got boxed in there by Marcus Ericsson, so we had to swerve to the inside, try and take the Salmers on the outside, but again, we're on the outside. We've got the outside line there, and Wehrlein squeezing me out of room there, squeezing me almost into the wall. That's a little bit rude by him. Ericsson has completely gone. Wehrlein again squeezing me into the wall there as Ericsson went off. But I then switched to the inside and we get that move done. And you can see here just how much Wehrlein was squeezing me, so it was quite satisfying to just send this up the inside. Just as a, hey, what are you doing, Pascal? Anyway, we now come to the hairpin, and this turns into a very late braking overtake which very nearly caused me to lose my front wing, so I'm lucky that that didn't get worse. I'm lucky that in F1 2017 the AI seemed quite placid, so they're very docile and they're quite happy to jump out the way. You don't see that on 2020 as we try and overtake Jolyon Palmer, and we have a little bit of a bump into him there. I'm actually lucky I don't have damage with the first lap I've had, because, well, it's just been chaos really. I've had bumps with the wall, scrapes with Verline, scrapes with Palmer, and of course that big dive at the hairpin. But now we're making another position up at the hands of Fernando Alonso. We are not messing around here. I am still chasing at least a podium, and with rain forecast in this race, I am planning to take these red super soft tyres up until the point that the rain comes, and potentially I need to change onto intermediates. So we're now chasing down Kevin Magnussen, who is a driver who's never been one that's the easiest to get past, and I'm actually missing seeing Magnussen in the 2021 season IRL, but I wish him well in what he's doing. Anyway, we're now trying to go around the outside of Magnussen here, and in true Magnussen style, he is blocking me out. He is not making this overtake easy at all. So now we have to try and find a way to get through here as we come up to the next braking zone of the circuit. I'm going to send it up the inside, but I have to be careful because I don't want to hit Sainz. And Magnussen just holds me out around the outside. He is not proving easy to pass. So now we're going down the inside here, and Magnussen literally giving me only a car's width worth of room. We take the room and finally get past him. K-Mag living up to his very much ruthless defensive reputation there. As now we've got Carlos Sainz ahead of us, who is in P12. And there is actually a long train of cars, which I believe is headed by the Williams of Felipe Massa. God, that's a name that's going back a bit, isn't it? Felipe Massa. As Max Verstappen has dropped out of the race. So we've lost a Red Bull from the race there. And you can see Max is buried in the wall on board with Hamilton. You just see there that car's just had enough. That car's not going any further at all. Back with the race now, and Sainz is in that coveted P11. Is this going to be a double overtake on Sainz and Grosjean to get us into the points? No. Grosjean getting great torque out the corner there, and as a result we have to just sit back and use the DRS hopefully to our advantage. But we are gaining on Grosjean. Are we going to send it up the inside? Yes we are. P10, thank you very much. Next up is Nico Hülkenberg. All these names are making me feel a bit nostalgic here. We've got Hülkenberg in P9, Kvyat ahead with Massa in 7th. And it saddens me that none of these are in F1 anymore. It really does, because I really liked these three drivers. Anyway, up the inside of Hülkenberg. We're not going to give him the opportunity to be as ruthless as Magnussen. That's not going down. And now we've got Kvyat and Massa. Massa's actually locked up there. Kvyat getting badly held up by it, so we can pass these two cars. It very nearly ended up being a Kubica-style accident there with how much Massa was pushing me across or forcing me across there. But we managed to take them both while Kvyat was compromised by Massa. And then Massa, obviously, he didn't have much speed going himself. So now it's time to take the fight to the big boys with Daniel Ricciardo, our next victim. Perez just setting the fastest lap there in the Force India. My goodness, he's quick, but we've just gone and obliterated that time. As we see a Sauber going off here. I think that's potentially Verline, and I think that's a puncture on that Sauber. But anyway, it's brought the virtual safety car out, so that has temporarily halted my charge. But I tell you what else it does. It gives my tyres a nice bit of respite, having gone all attack trying to make up positions. And given that we need them to last until the rain comes, it's a welcome break for them. But as soon as the virtual is gone, we are back on the march, trying to catch the top guys. And Daniel Ricciardo is going to be first in my sights. We set a fastest lap on lap 6, I think it was. And now we're pushing even harder. We are going after these top guys, and would you know it, it's another fastest lap, defeating our own time. as we now try to catch up to Ricciardo and Perez, who are battling into the last chicane. And Perez was very compromised on the exit there as Ricciardo forced his way through. I do believe I heard, unseen on the video of course, that Perez was having an issue with his car, so that's a real shame. Both Force Indias are running really well here. Also, Bottas has just been into pits, who was the race leader before this, so Bottas is clearly running a two-stop strategy given that he's on the ultra softs, and I believe he started on those ultra softs. Ocon is backing Ricciardo up quite nicely for me here, but the other side effect of that is that it's backing me into Valtteri Bottas, and I need to try and make sure I'm as clear as possible from him because he's going to be super quick on those ultra soft tyres. We've sent it on Ricciardo going for P3, but Ricciardo's just put his nose up the inside there, and I managed to spook myself. I made a mistake and went completely wide, and that gets the place back. I'm diving up the inside of the hairpin here, but then having to avoid Ocon through my own mistake, and now I'm right back onto Daniel Ricciardo for the third time. But is it going to be third time lucky as we head into the chicane? Both of us have DRS, obviously, because Ricciardo was very clearly within a second of Ocon before I intervened. But we dive up the inside there, little bit of contact, but up into P3 now in the top three, and now I've got my sights on Ocon a lap later, and that should be a pretty straightforward overtake, and it was a pretty straightforward overtake. Up into P2. Meanwhile, while that's going on, Bottas isn't wasting any time on Ricciardo as he sends one on the inside too, and Ricciardo didn't get the great exit there, did he? So now I'm chasing down race leader and teammate Sebastian Vettel, who has just pitted, and Hamilton setting a very quick lap time there, which is getting me on my toes just a little bit, but obviously I'm on a good strategy here. I'm comfortable with the strategy I'm on, and the Mercedes, you see, are going at it with each other now. So if anything, that's just allowing me to get away from what's going to be a super quick Vettel on his fresh tyres. But they're still going at it, and I think, oh, this is entertaining to watch. The two Mercedes side by side, but eventually Hamilton, I think, has to give way, and Bottas has got through. So the Mercedes now 2 and 3 with Vettel right behind them, and you can see it is starting to rain here at Montreal. The rain is starting to fall, and now comes the difficult moment where we decide what do we do? Do we go on for intermediates, or do we take another set of slick tyres? It's getting to an awkward crossover, and another thing is my tyres are starting to go off. It's getting very damp. It's getting very, very damp. And this is going to be such a tough call. It doesn't seem ready for Inters just yet. So now it's a case of how much more can I make these tyres last. Not that much longer if I keep doing that. We now get to lap 25. The track is quite damp, and I have decided I'm taking the gamble to go on the intermediate tyre. And it would be interesting to see what the AI does from here. I heard Jeff in my ear saying this might be the time to change over, so what the hey, may as well take the gamble. This is one of the most crucial things about Formula 1, is you've got to be on the right tyre at the right time, and I feel like this was the right call to make. But we shall see. We've got 10 laps to go now, and we're a few seconds behind Sebastian Vettel with cars to lap. Verline not that eager to get out of my way, but eventually does. And we're now hounding down Vettel. We got so much, we got a bit more speed into the corners and a bit more grip than what Vettel has, and we're catching him by around 2 to 3 seconds a lap here. So clearly the right call to make. You can see Vettel now struggling with back markers. We're right behind him now. We're going to try and get him on the inside while he's compromised. Vettel squeezing me into the wall here. This is very much a Button Hamilton from 2011. But I stick to my guns. I stick it down the inside. We've gone wide. We nearly lose it coming through the first corner. But just holding on. We have now managed to grab that lead from Vettel, and this just shows that how slippery it is, because even on intermediates we are sliding everywhere, but this is enabling us to just get away a little bit from Sebastian Vettel. However, will that advantage last? The rain is easing off quite quickly now, and all of a sudden my grip levels are less than what they were before, and also the slick tyre seems to be the right tyre now, so we have made a bad call there, and Sebastian Vettel now right on me, and I'm starting to fear that these will not go to the end if the track is going to dry out the way it is. Vettel on the outside, we have just held him off, we've gone wide and done a little bit of track extending there. That's a little bit naughty, as Vettel is coming straight back at me. Yeah, these are not the right tyres, and I would just be a sitting duck to anyone behind me. Vettel now on the inside, and look at the traction advantage he has on me. That's just ridiculous. We've got little to no traction advantage there, so I made the decision then to pit again, because even with 4 laps to go, if I stick that out, I could lose bucket loads of time. Luckily as it is, we have managed to emerge in P4, but I am now charging because I feel like Valtteri Bottas is within reach. That P3 that Bottas covets is within reach, so we are going to make a push to try and get it, and the fastest lap time has just tumbled down completely, and yeah, I'm pushing hard. We've got cars to lap as well, which could cause a problem, but I'm not letting it. I'm going full pelt to catch Bottas, as that lap time suggests, and there he is. There is Valtteri, so I believe that within this one lap we can catch him. But what a race it's been, starting at the back, making it to the front, having to cool a tyre to go on. We took the lead again, passing Vettel in what was a very audacious move, especially with him squeezing me towards the wall. We managed to pull away for about a lap, but then Vettel came straight back at me. So it proved to be the wrong decision, and now we're pushing just to try and maintain third. Unfortunately for us, however, the championship leader Sebastian Vettel is about to take another win and extend that lead after the bite we took out of Monaco. So yeah, it's frustrating that we didn't get the win here and that I called the strategy wrong, but I'm still going to see what I'm still trying to see what I can salvage from this race. We're going to dive up the inside of Bottas there, and Bottas just jumps clean out the way, not wanting to get in my way. Vettel takes the win. It's P3 for me. Happy with that given the circumstances, but with the right call, it could have been better.
Great effort there from Ferrari to take the victory today. Anthony, what do you think made the difference here?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy and to stay out of trouble.
So here they come now, out onto the podium. Wherever you go, anywhere in the world, the prancing horse flags are dominant in the grandstands, and they're out in force again today. It's Ferrari on the top step once more. And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table.
Well, to me, that's the one that kind of got away a bit there, but Vettel getting the win, Hamilton taking second, we got third, Bottas fourth, then it's Ricciardo, Ocon, Perez, Sainz, Kvyat and Palmer grabbing that final point in what was a very eventful Canadian Grand Prix. It's a little bit frustrating to know that the bite I took out of the championship lead in Monaco is now
Until next time, though.
Well, come to
goodbye.
nothing really, because Vettel has extended the gap by 10 points here. But it's a long season, you know, you just got to take every race as it comes, and we still got many, many, many races to go. You see there, the gap is now 32 points, and Bottas is third in the standings with Hamilton fourth. Then it's the two Red Bulls, Ocon, Massa, Grosjean and Perez rounding out the top 10. So the Haas drivers are doing pretty well there in 9th and 11th, doing a great job for the team. But we could have done better there. And it's another race where, again, I don't think we really reached our potential. We've had quite a few mistakes this season. So, it is what it is. We've got to move on to the next one.
Listen, I'm doing what I can, but there's a real risk of your next deal being less than favourable. You need to start impressing the team.
And to top it all off, Emma's now annoyed at me and we've got a written warning. So yeah, we got to get some better results if we're going to mount this title challenge. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and join me again soon.